Okay, grade 10s. Today we're going to be doing some solid geometry. We are not cutting this shape, so if you need help with the sectioning of your solid geometry, I do have another video on the channel doing that, and I will be making another one at some point, but right now this is just the basics. So if you are struggling to understand it and you just want an explanation for the basics, this is the video for you. Okay, so just give me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to start by labeling. So we're going to have T for the top of our pyramid. So one thing you need to remember is that if you're new at this, and even if you're not new at this, labeling is great. It's going to help you remember all your points. If you feel like you don't need labels, that's excellent, but I personally recommend them. Okay, so we've got TT, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we've got all our labeling done. Okay, and we've got our label here. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. So we've been given a front view, which this will obviously be our front view, and this will obviously be our auxiliary view. And basically an auxiliary view is just a helping view, okay? And we basically have to draw the left view as well as the top view. Okay, so when you work in solid geometry, we always use first orthographic projection, which means that we will have our layout as follows. So we'll have front, top, left, right, 45 degrees and 45 degrees, because we know that we are doing the top and left view and we've already got our front view. We are going to be working on this section here. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to draw in our grid lines, as they are going to help us get every little bit of space we need to do this drawing. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler, and from the edge of the prism, so if this were the edge right at the edge here, we would use this point, but seeing as T is the one that sticks out the most, we're going to draw a line at T like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to also do one at the edge at the bottom here, 3 going horizontally, just like this over here. Okay, so now that you've got those, what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 measurements vertically. So you're going to go 10 and 10, and you're going to draw those measurements in as well, or these lines. So here you're going to have a line drawn, and you're also going to have a line drawn right over here. Okay, so it should look like this over here. Then our next thing is going to be doing the same thing horizontally. So you're going to measure 10, and then you're going to measure 10 again, and you're going to draw the lines horizontally. So over here and over here. These lines should be light construction lines. I'm obviously just drawing them a little bit darker so that you guys can see what's going on here, but just keep that in mind when you guys are drawing. And then from the middle of your little square that you've now got here, you're going to draw a 45-degree line. Okay, so that's this 45-degree line over here. All right, so now that you've got that, we're going to do the next step, and that is to take the points from our auxiliary view over to our XY line that I've drawn here. So we're going to go 3 to the XY line, 2 and T to the XY line, and 1 and 1.1 to the XY line. Okay, so once you've got those points, your next step is going to be to take all of these points down. So you see we've already got point C down, so we don't need to worry about point C, but we still need to take 3 down. So we are just going to take point 3 and we're going to bring it down. Again, these are all light construction lines. Point 2 we're going to take down, and we are going to take point 1 down as well. All right, so far what you've got should look like this. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually start grabbing your points that you need to do your view over here. Okay, so over here we're going to grab point T, and we know that point T from the XY line onto this point here will give us point T. I like to measure from this middle line because for me it's just standard, it makes it easier. So from that middle line you're going to make your point T, which I'll just quickly label, so that will be point T. And then I'm just going to grab 1 and 3 while I'm at it. Point 3 and 1 are the same length. You can always just take your compass across to check. So I'm not going to take a new measurement for both. I'm just going to use the same one. So this will be point 3 and this over here will be point 1. Okay, so I'm just going to label that quickly, 3 and 1. And then our last point will obviously be point 2, which will actually touch this line here because I've left a gap of 10, but it's not always like that in your workbook. So I'm just going to take the measurement so you can see. So you're going to take the measurement of point 2 over here. You're going to find your 2 line and the XY line, which is over here. And that will become point 2. So all of these points are now where they need to be. Okay, so a lot of students struggle with the visualization of solid geometry, and I can understand it because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible for you guys to understand. Okay, so imagine that this is obviously our front view. Okay, so we know that our top view would be at the top of this shape here. So imagine you are a little man and you are looking down. What are you going to see? So we know that we're not going to see the bottom of the triangle, okay? And we know this because you can see that the bottom goes underneath this line over here, okay? So the man is not going to see the bottom of the triangle. So if we have a look at our triangle here, the bottom 1, 2, 3, we know we're not going to see that. We do know that we are going to see line 1T, which is this line over here. So we can draw line 1T in as a solid line. So let's just do that quickly. Okay, so it should look like this over here. Okay, so now that you've got this line over here, the next thing we're going to realize is that, oh, we are actually going to see line 2T, because if you imagine the man's looking on the other side of the shape, he will see line 2T. And so we are going to make line 2T a solid line as well. Okay, and we also know we're going to definitely see the point where line 1, 2 joins together. So this line here will obviously be a solid line. And obviously 3 is not hiding. We are going to see a part of line 3, but not much of it, okay? And so that is what we are going to draw in over here. All right, and then we'll have line or base 1, 3 that we will see as well. So this base here, you will see part of it. Okay, so this is what the man is seeing from his point of view. And the only line we won't see, because we do need to add in our hidden detail, will be the last bit of the base square or the base of the pyramid. So you're going to equally put dash lines joining these 2 points together. The only thing I want you to remember is that your dash lines need to be A, equally spaced, and B, it needs to be lighter than the rest of your drawing. Okay, mine's obviously in pen, so I don't have any control over how my line weights are going to be. Okay, now we've got our front view done, our top view done, and we want to move on to the left view. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to grab the measurements given. So here we have our top view, and we're going to bring that line straight across like that. And then we've got line 1, and we're going to bring that line straight across. Point 2, we'll bring straight across, and then point 3 is already straight across, so we don't really need to worry about that. But as you can see, this is why it makes labeling easier. Why labeling makes things easier, because you can already see how much you need to do just by reading the points. Okay, so now we've got line T, so we're going to take point T across. So we're going to take T, because you don't need to use your auxiliary view anymore for this. So you're going to take point T straight across onto this line over here. And then once you've got it across, you're going to bring it straight up, and it will touch this point over here. Okay, then you're going to do the same with point 2. So point 2 we know is right on the edge. So let me actually just label this so you guys can see better. So T will be here. 2, if you have a look here, it touches right at the edge here. So if we had to bring it across onto the 45-degree line and bring it up, it would be here. Okay, that would be point 2. And then we've got point 3 and 1, which we need to bring across. And because they are basically the same, they should be the same. If mine's not, it's probably because I drew my line a little bit skew. But they are actually on the same horizontal line, which means you're only bringing 1 point up to your 45-degree line. But when you bring it up, you're going to make a line at 1 as well as a line at 3. Okay, and I am just going to bring this line up so that you can see the whole sort of idea behind the 45-degree line. I just don't like to bring it all the way up, but you can do that, definitely. If you have light construction lines, it's going to be perfect. Okay, I also just find it keeps the drawing a lot clearer for you guys to see what I'm doing. Too many lines can get a bit confusing. Okay, so I would recommend you put them there. All right, okay, so now you see we've got all of our points. Now we need to visualize what it's going to look like from the left side. So we obviously know our left is on this side over here. And so now we imagine our man is standing over here, okay, and he's looking. The first thing we know is that he is definitely seeing the base of the pyramid, right? If he's standing, okay, don't imagine him so high, maybe he's standing over here, or about midway, so maybe here. But you can see that you'll definitely see the bottom of the triangle or the bottom of the prism as well as part of the top of the prism. Okay, so the easiest thing we're going to do is connect the bottom of the pyramid first. I don't know why I keep saying prism. The bottom of the pyramid, we're going to connect that first. So we're going to join line dot 1 and 3, dot 1 and 2, as well as dot 2 and 3, like that. Okay, so it should look like that. Then we obviously know, okay, he would definitely be seeing point 2 connecting to point T, just like that over there. And he would definitely see point 1 connecting to point T. And so we're going to join that over there. The only line he is not going to see is point 3, which is this back line here. And you can see why, it's straight at the back. He's not going to see that. So from there, we're going to take our dash line again, make sure it's lighter than your actual drawing, and make sure the dashes are equally spaced. And then that is going to be your drawing complete. So we didn't section it today, but this is a very good exercise if you just struggle to visualize things and you needed to do a little bit of a recap. So I hope that this helped you. If it did, then I'm really happy about that. And if there are any other videos you would like to see grade 10s, let me know. Yeah, so I hope this helped you guys.